Illuminati and she know it already. Shake a money maker, now it's raining like confetti.
Welcome to the belly of the beast, to the den of the Illuminati, home of the almighty media. That's how powerful we are, that's how influential we are, and we're not stopping anytime soon, so get used to it. This is the Black Ops division of Flow Sports. We're dropping nuclear bombs today.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Who's Number One podcast. Wow, we got a fun one going here this week. As always, in the back, we got Connor, Josh, and holding it down.
What's up, guys?
The YouTube comments, of course, and the Discord, or where. What are we doing these days, Connor?
Yep, we're mostly in the YouTube comments, but we'll get you in the Discord as well.
A lot to talk about this week, of course. We crowned a Who's Next champion. It was crazy. It was chaos. It was mayhem. But if you tuned in, I hope you had a good time. I think it was a crazy one. A lot to talk about. Gordon Ryan, of course, coming up here. Felipe, Pena, ADCC archives on the site. Holy smokes, it's a crazy time out there. But we also got on the show all the way from Yorktown, New York. There he is, Corey Stockton. What's up, Corey? How you doing, bro?
Oh, man. I've been spending the last, 3 weeks now just pouring over ADCC archives, and can't wait to...
What's been like the sickest thing you've seen from the ADCC archives? Corey, of course, student of the game. This guy knows it all. But anything surprised you? Anything that you're like, holy shit, this is dope?
Man, it's just crazy to go back to like the 2009 stuff and see things that are considered like new age techniques today, right? I mean, when you go from like leg lock entries to cool armbar setups, cool choke setups, and even just sweeps that are considered new school today. Like looking at false reaps, looking at K guards, and that's not supposed to be around yet. This is 11, 12 years ago we're talking about. Yeah,
huge stuff. I feel like if you guys aren't hip, we just dropped ADCC 2009, ADCC 2011, and ADCC 2015 on FloGrappling. So now you can watch those 3 years plus 2017 plus 2019 all on our site on demand. You can go to Flow Arena as well and check out the brackets. Huge thing for the sport. We're working on 2013. We're working on a lot more. We hear you guys for sure, but we're working on it. But last but not least, got an intro. Trey Robinson, all the pride of the pride of Kansas, all the way from Kansas. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Oh yeah, man. If you guys are ready and amped up to get after this Who's Number One, go ahead and drop a hell yeah in the chat, because I'm jacked up. I'm ready to go, baby. What are we talking about today?
I don't think we didn't quite finish our conversations that we were having earlier. I don't know if we want to, Trey's a very athletic guy. Mm-hmm. Maybe
put it on the record.
Maybe one of the most athletic guys I know. Certainly.
You've probably ever met.
Yeah.
I know we work with a lot of world champion athletes, but I like myself 9 out of 10 times there.
Trey, you were on the football team, the basketball team, the track team, the rugby team, the
baseball team,
you
golf,
were on them all.
Powerlifting, you name them. Badminton, I ran pickleball back in school, in lifetime fitness class, wiffle ball champion, 2-time Little League state champion. I can just keep naming the accolades. You know who doesn't have a lot of accolades?
Who's that?
Our Flow Wrestling team. Okay, I didn't mean to call them out.
Okay.
But I don't know. But we'll try to stick to the Who's Number One stuff today.
I'm not sure the Flow Wrestling team has any state championships or...
I had 2 in the same year, dude. Little League and USSSA ball. That's 2 the same year. I won state twice. That's not even possible.
Wow.
That doesn't make sense. We might have to call Dr. Bill Nye and see how that's scientifically possible.
So we're fired up here today. Trey's fired up. We're having a great time. Wrestling team doesn't know what they're talking about. That's kind of the moral of that story.
If you think grappling's better than wrestling, go ahead and drop that in the chat as well as a hell yeah, brother.
Yes, grappling versus wrestling. We want to know which side do you land on. We gotta find out. Where you are. If you're on the wrestling side, we may kick you out. But where do you want to start, Corey? What's going down?
Let's talk about that epic Who's Next finale. We can start with Gordon Ryan or with Isaac Michelle. Both of them put on really impressive performances. Let's tee up Isaac Michelle. I want to watch his finish.
Do you think Isaac Michelle is like a baseball, basketball, football guy? And is he killing it?
I would guess he is killing it. Incredibly athletic. My guess would be probably no. Rugby guy. Rugby guy, actually.
That's right. Yeah, rugby guy. If you put a
surfer.
baseball glove on Isaac Michelle, how do you think he would do?
Oh, dude,
in baseball, not in grappling.
I don't think he would do great, but I don't know. I bet he could hit a big old dinger. I will say that. I bet he could go long with it, go yard.
Connor, why don't you just kind of cue up what was going on here? What's going on in your head right now? This is the tail end of the match. Set this up for us a little bit, Connor.
Yeah, man, this is the Who's Number One like underground backstage fight club that I think it was perfect for the Who's Next finale to kind of end this way. I know we did have to take it off stream, but that just made the live experience so much cooler. The crowd kind of split up. There was those that stayed in and watched the Gordon fight, and then there were the people that were really in for the Who's Next finale, mostly just like coaches, teammates, friends. And dude, it was so quiet in there. Honestly, everyone was so ready for it. The Gordon match had just ended, and we finally get the finish. I think everyone was very relieved and happy to see Isaac's hard work really pay off.
Yeah, well, what a perfect way to end this series, right? Because when we started the series, I think all of the team kind of gathered together in that room where we shot Who's Next, and it felt like this really exclusive thing, right? Just us in the bleachers and the athletes on the mat, and that was it. And there were like maybe 20 of us. Mm-hmm. And to end it in the exact same way it started felt really just kind of poetic.
Yeah, that's a good point. True. So you want to talk us through the armbar here?
I mean, Isaac had been chasing any kind of attack he could muster from back control for 2 hours, right? Just 2 hours straight. Pass to the back control, searching for rear naked chokes and not finding him. But he finally makes the transition that he was looking for, gets the arm under his armpit, and is able to finally drop off. Kyle, I think, gave up the perfect position for Isaac to actually finish this one, because he had tried that a couple times, right?
Yeah, it seems like this position they went through a couple times. You made some predictions on the broadcast. Did it go how you thought it would go?
I did pick Isaac, but I must admit, I picked Isaac way early. I thought if this went long, if this went over an hour, if it went near 2 hours, I thought for sure Kyle would end up taking it. I mean, Isaac, what did he land in America from Australia like 48 hours before, 24? Like how soon of a turnaround was that?
Yeah,
maybe a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, 48 hours before Isaac, he went back to Australia for the ADCC trials. A complicated process being from Australia coming to the United States at the moment. I don't know much about the immigration process, but it seemed like there was it's not great right now, just the COVID and everything like that, long lines, of course, and everything like that. So he got delayed a little bit, but luckily made it here just about 48 hours before the match. And I think everybody was excited for the match, but it didn't seem like it boded well for Isaac if it did go super long. And we had known that Kyle's had some long matches in the past. The possibility of it going long was very real. And so for Isaac to come out there 2 hours 15 minutes kind of it was, I believe, and for him, honestly, he did not look tired to me. I don't know about you guys, but I was so impressed with just how present, how constant he was pushing the pace, and then he just went up immediately, did a bunch of interviews, like he was ready for this thing. So told me he was going to train the next day, like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he walked off the mat, immediately went on to the post show, put a headset on, and was just, "Oh, sorry, mate, I couldn't get the submission." Well, I really was trying, but like it's just incredible, not out of breath at all. And what I'm excited for, Reed, is you had your camera crew there, everybody running around capturing all this, and this is going to come out as Who's Next episode 7, the official finale for the series, right? Because that's going to be a crazy episode. Moving mats, everyone running around trying to set up lights, no one really knowing what's going on, you just trying to orchestrate it as best you can. That's going to be a crazy episode.
Yeah, for sure. If people don't know, of course, this was the finale of Who's Next. We released, you can watch them on YouTube or on FloGrappling, released all 6 episodes of the Who's Next show. We started with 16, the next best up-and-coming grapplers, brought them here to Austin, Texas, had a no time limit, submission-only tournament, and it came down to Kyle Chambers, Isaac Michelle, of course, on Thursday night. And we're going to produce a 7th episode from the night, from the action that took place there in the Palmer Event Center here in Austin, Texas. It was wild. It was crazy. There was mayhem. There was twists and turns, ups and downs. It was a great night. A lot of big names. Had big wins. Andrew Tackett, of course. Dan Monasoyu. Lots of great matches on the card. Giancarlo.
Nicholas Marigali.
So it's going to be an incredible 7th episode, I think. You know, just the drama, the back and forth, you know, the way that Kyle and Isaac, you know, handled this whole thing. It's been a crazy journey. Right, Corey?
Absolutely. And looking forward, right, looking on to exactly what Isaac accomplished, right? $10,000,
yeah,
10,000 TES, and I think most importantly, a 3-fight contract on Who's Number One. So I want to field this to the YouTube chat, and I want to field it to the group here. What are some what are some exciting Who's Number One matches we think we can set up for Isaac?
Yeah, great question. If you guys have some, who do you think Isaac should fight next? Great question. You know, now that he is in this Who's Number One universe, you know, I have to assume he's going to get a big fight kind of next on Who's Number One. Something jump out to you, Trey?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that too much, I must admit. I'm kind of too stoked for this August 7th card. You know, can't really look past it yet. But definitely, there's got to be some cool matchups out there. I don't know, Corey, do you have one of your tickets?
Yeah, it's at 185, right, which is where Isaac tends to hang around. I think a really, really fun one right out of the gate is Roberto Jimenez.
That was a great match. Sick. Wow. And it's you know, the champ, of course, in that division is Ty Rotolo. Hard to not look at the champ, Ty Rotolo, and think that would be a pretty fun match between him and Isaac Michelle. You know, maybe not out the gate, but down the line seems like something that could be really, really fun. Connor, what do you think, brother?
Man, there's quite a few of them in here I'm actually looking at. One of them that stands out, if you want to unite the grappling YouTube world, is Jacob Couch. I know he's got his match with J-Rod coming up, but regardless, still a really fun one. I think on top of that, you know, you got, if you don't want to go that route, you got Andrew Wiltsey. Maybe throw them on the same card. I think either way, you know, we finally have Isaac in the Who's Number One universe. He's part of the roster, and I think he's going to be super exciting. If, you know, he did everything he could to turn a 2-hour match into something where there's, you know, constantly, you know, upping the pace and always looking for submissions. Give him a 15-minute Who's Number One match. He's gonna be the most exciting guy on the card.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I like that. Were you going to say something, Corey?
No, we got another one here that I like. Isaac versus John Blank versus Thor. It's another cool matchup. Now, of course, all these matchups, right, the couple that we've listed at least, we can see at ADCC in September.
Yeah.
Right, because Thor is going to be ADCC. Roberto is going to be ADCC. So there Isaac has his hands full, right, with a lot of these guys already. But I think looking a little further in the future, there's some great matchups for him.
We can talk about Gordon Ryan as well, of course, the main event of the night. You know, the king, a hard guy to bet against, of course, as always. You know, went out there and looked unstoppable against one of the best opponents I think he's faced on Who's Number One, the reigning kind of double gold Nogi world champion, the, of course, Who's Number One light heavyweight champion, Pedro Mourinho, been on fire recently, been unstoppable. And I don't want to say he had nothing for Gordon, because I think there was you know, some good exchanges there in the beginning, but once it went to the ground, man, it was all Gordon Ryan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how good is Gordon? I mean, 50 fight win streak, more than 50 match win streak. His last, I think, 11 have been by submission. He hasn't not won a match by submission since the final at ADCC 2019 against Buchecha, right? Every other match since Buchecha has been a submission victory. This is actually the only time he's broken a streak, in that in the last 5 matches he called a shot. This one, where it was almost an impossible submission to hit, right?
And he still submitted him.
Right, that's the only streak he lost, is the shot calling, but he still has the submission streak. He still has the win streak. So Gordon looks damn near untouchable. And leading into ADCC, leading into this match, this no time limit match versus Felipe Pena, leaves a lot of questions for the people who he's lined up against.
Trey, what impressed you about Gordon's performance here?
Man, I was backstage on the warm up mats, but I went back and watched it on FloGrappling.com, and it was just terrifying, to be honest with you, man. Like watching Gordon get on top of Pedro and then just completely dominate him. And Pedro is an absolute killer. Pedro could do that to me in his sleep if he wanted to.
And he looked huge this
week.
past week.
Yeah, he was big for sure. Pedro could smother tap me without a doubt. To watch Gordon just do that and completely dominate him, I mean, it was kind of a terrifying thing, honestly. Like, it was like, wow, I didn't even know a guy could do that to someone that highly skilled and trained as Pedro.
Yeah, there was a couple times where it looked like he was getting close to smother tapping Pedro, you know. A couple times in the beginning there, you know, where Pedro really started kipping and bucking pretty hard to make some space so he could breathe. But make no mistake, yeah, Gordon could smother tap just about anybody else, probably.
I saw this a little bit in Gordon's post-match interview, but he was getting chirped a little bit. Gordon got chirped from the crowd. That's why he switched up and decided just to change the submission.
Yeah, I think they were like, oh, did you put decision in the envelope? And then he decided he needed to get a finish.
He just
switched it up.
And then immediately submitted him.
So, I mean, it's just such a crazy thing. Main event, one of the most high-profile shows of the year, a title on the line, and he's looking for one specific submission. He decides, with 4 minutes left to kind of go for something different, and he's able to hit it on one of the best in the world. What can you say about the King, about Gordon Ryan? What do you think, Connor? What was most impressive to you?
Well, I will say, I don't know if it was anyone here, but when I was backstage, I was talking, everyone had the question of, like, what did Gordon put in the envelope? What's he going to try and pull out? And I was saying, half joking, I was like, man, what if he puts the buggy choke in there? Like, what if he just tried something really crazy? And
pretty good night for the buggy choke, though.
Pretty good night for the buggy choke.
But it was good fun, yeah.
But point being, everyone looked at me and they said, are you fucking crazy? That's not going to happen. That's outlandish. That's not, whatever. And he actually was going to smother tap him. I think that he, kind of one-upped even my expectations of kind of how out there he was going to go. So, I don't know. I was super excited about it. I asked the chat what they thought. They called it pure domination from Sauerkraut. Yeah, real scary part is when Gordon gave up on the smother and took less than a minute to tap him from the back, says Mr. Hawk Soccer. So we got some guys in the chat that kind of have similar opinions to us.
And make no mistake, too, this match made it really easy to believe that, that Pedro just didn't belong there. But, of course, Pedro belonged in that match, right? He was 100%. Maybe one of the best opponents for Gordon, and that's just how good Gordon is. Like, to put in perspective, right, Pedro, no-gi double world champion, who's number one champion. He just got invited to ADCC, so it's not like it was a mismatch. It's just the closest matchup we could find for Gordon Ryan, which goes exactly to just demonstrate how far ahead of the game Gordon Ryan proves over and over that he is.
Yeah, crazy to watch Gordon. Best in the world for sure. He's had the stomach issues, of course. It seems like he's getting over those, of course, and hopefully we're going to see more and more of Gordon Ryan. Of course, we got big fish to fry here. August 7th, Gordon Ryan takes on another Gracie Baja black belt, another Gracie Baja standout, but this time, one of the very best grapplers of all time, and one of the only people to have defeated Gordon Ryan. The only person to have defeated him twice at black belt, of course, Felipe Pena versus Gordon Ryan. Immediately after this one, a huge matchup. People, I don't know if everybody can recognize how big this matchup really is. This is something we have been trying to put on for years. Everybody in the jiu-jitsu community has been trying to put this match on for years, and it finally is happening August 7th here in Dallas, Texas. I cannot wait for it. Are you as jacked up as I am, Trey?
Oh, dude, I am amped up for this one. It's going to be crazy. There's obviously Felipe Pena Preguiça, which means sloth, if you guys don't know. It's kind of like, he kind of lives up to that name. He's kind of a guy who, he kills everyone on the mats. He's kind of, whatever, real chill. But then, man, you bring up Gordon Ryan around Preguiça, he lights up, dude. He starts calling him his chubby baby. He shows you memes he has of him on his phone. These guys do not like each other. This is a rivalry that dates back further than my time in jiu-jitsu, if I'm being honest. I've trained for less time than these guys have hated each other. But, so, I mean, I'm incredibly stoked for this. I know Preguiça's taking it super serious. You guys think he was scared at all watching Pedro and Gordon? Because Gordon said he wanted to use Pedro to make a statement to Preguiça. How do you guys think Preguiça took it?
You think Felipe was watching him?
So we heard from Felipe yesterday. He told us exactly what he thinks about Gordon's performance, and I think we can tee that up in a second, Nico, if you can pull that one up.
Shout out William Tackett.
Yeah, William Tackett down there simulating Gordon a little bit for Preguiça, training in Belo Horizonte in the basement.
So he didn't get the smother tap. He didn't quite send the full message that he wanted to send to Felipe, but I don't think I've seen this. So I'm curious to kind of see what Felipe thought of Gordon's performance there on Thursday night.
Let's hear from Felipe Pena here. We can listen to this one. Maybe not.
Here we go.
Of course,
Yeah, here we go.
To say about that, he take it down, he put pressure on top, did a good job, do not letting Pedro stand up, and stay on top. pushing the pace to kill Pedro Gas,
Incredible
you know.
game down there in Belo Horizonte.
But didn't impress me in anything, you know, like Pedro is not known for a guard player, you know, so Gordon did a good job on taking him down, you know, but pretty much the whole match Pedro did the guard, you know, he didn't do it. He is a strong game with his passing. And beside that, fight is fight, you know, it's no excuse, but Pedro told me he didn't train at all for this fight because he was injured, but he didn't want to pull out because he called out Gordon Ryan. So it's part of the game, you know, congrats for Gordon. He fought really good, but I'm 100% ready for this next match, you know. I just did not like Gordon's attitude, you know, on the match, like kind of like passing his hand on Pedro's head when he was mounting, this type of thing, you know. I don't agree to that, and I hope I can teach Gordon a lesson on 7th of August.
So not super impressed.
So 2 things. I'm not impressed by your performance, and I'm going to teach you a lesson for disrespecting Pedro Mourinho.
Ooh,
Yeah.
wow. The classic GSP, I'm not impressed by your
I'm not
performance, with a
impressed.
great line. And teach him a lesson. So he's going to teach Gordon Ryan a lesson. Not many people able to do that. Not many people trying to go out there and teach Gordon Ryan a lesson. Any other context there, Corey? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
You believe Felipe?
Felipe obviously has the best resume to do it, right?
Yeah.
I said this on the Grappling Bulletin podcast Monday, but it holds true. He's the only person to have ever submitted Gordon Ryan a black belt. He's the only person to have beaten Gordon Ryan twice. Nobody else has ever doubled down on Gordon Ryan. Felipe Pena has the answer, or it seems like he had the answer. Now, I'm sure Gordon's been working to solve that answer for seemingly his entire career, but 2-0, right? Looking to make it 3-0.
It's true. Yeah, and if people don't know, of course, you know, the rivalry kind of started back in 2016 when, you know, Gordon was making a name for himself, had just been kind of promoted to black belt and wanted big, high-profile matches. So he started kind of poking around on social media, as he does, calling people out. Felipe Pena took the bait. They did a 45 time limit match out in Studio 540, Solana Beach, California. Felipe, Gordon, they both flew in, kind of neutral territory, neutral zone, and walked up to Solana Beach. It was closed door facility, felt real old school Gracie challenge, had an incredible vibe to it. And Eddie Bravo was the referee. They fought for about, I'm pretty sure it was 45 minutes or around there, 30 minutes. I forget exactly how long it went, but at least 30 minutes it certainly went. And Felipe was able to find Gordon's back and choke him. And it was kind of a very devastating loss for Gordon at the time, who was, you know, just as confident as he is now. And, you know, even Felipe celebrated, challenged him to a gi match for a rematch, you know. And then fast forward a year later, ADCC 2017. Gordon won 88 kilograms. Felipe made it to the finals of the 99 kilogram division. Wasn't able to beat Yuri, got silver. And then that put both of them basically on a collision course in the absolute division. Gordon had a great showing against guys like Craig Jones and Cyborg. He beat along the way at the ADCC absolute division. And then, you know, Felipe went, you know, lights out in the absolute division, beat Buchecha, of course, and a few other guys on his way to the gold medal match. And it was the prime rematch, Felipe versus Gordon, ADCC absolute final. It was the perfect thing that could have happened. You know, this rematch, can Gordon get it done? Can Felipe go up 2-0? It was a tight match, very, very close until about the last 90 seconds, where Felipe was able to kind of flip the scripts, very, very similar, if not the same exact way. He took Gordon's back off of a kind of a heel hook attempt and wasn't able to finish Gordon in that match, but won the match 3-0, went up 2-0 on Gordon Ryan, became the absolute ADCC absolute champion. Later would go on to fight Andre Galvao in 2019, you know, and the history is there. Gordon, of course, in 2019, double gold, one of the best performances in ADCC history. And here they are again to do it one more time. This time I think there's a lot more on the line than either of those fights. If Gordon goes down 3-0 against Felipe, that's pretty big. And of course, this is one of the biggest achievements I think that Felipe has in his career. Of course, a multiple-time world champion, ADCC champion, but a win over Gordon means quite a bit these days. So, quick little recap for everybody. Sorry if that's redundant, if everybody knows it.
It was a good history lesson.
That was beautiful.
Quick little history lesson of the history there. Hope I hit on all the points. But I don't know. What you want to talk about this one? How do you see it going down, or? We'll save that for next week, or
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe we leave that as a little cliffhanger. We don't give our predictions just yet. I will say, like, one thing. I think a lot of times we see athletes kind of whenever they have this like daunting challenge in front of them, for either of these guys, for Gordon or for Felipe, they have a big task at hand. I'm not going to act like there's no way Gordon realizes what's at stake here for him. He could potentially go down 3-0 against Felipe. That is huge. Obviously, Felipe had a chance to kind of solidify his place there. But when both of these guys talk about one another, they're not like throwing guff. They're not being silly gooses or trying to amp themselves up. Both of them 100% believes everything they say about the other. They 100% believe that they're going to mop the floor with the other guy, that the other guy just cannot even be on the same mats as them. The beef is very real. They do not like each other. I think that's just like an impressive thing about this matchup. Is like when you talk to both these guys, both of them will tell you that they're going to absolutely kill, embarrass the other, teach them a lesson, show them respect, like all this stuff. And they both 100% believe it. Like it kind of makes this incredible like feud that they have going back and forth. It's great to listen to as well.
So much so that both these guys, as of a couple of days ago, put their money where their mouth is, right?
Yeah, that's true. And I think Mo was in the chat also a little bit ago. He might still be listening. Maybe we need to get him on to talk about this.
That's a crazy. So Gordon put down $100,000 and Felipe put down $10,000.
Right. So
wow.
I think Mo is kind of holding that in escrow, and the winner gets the whole $110K.
That's badass.
That's so wild. Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure the first match, 2016 match, was a bet match. There was no promoter for it or anything like that. So I don't know the numbers. Maybe I should find that out. But I'm pretty sure the first match was also a bet match, where it was the purse that both of them put up.
Mo put that one together too.
Did he?
Yeah.
Wow, jeez, Mo's in the mix.
Legend,
of it all.
dude.
Sure he
Mo's
is.
freaking kingpin. Mo, if you're still in the chat, drop some comments. Let us know what's going on with that. Let us know if you want to come on and talk about that stuff. That'd be cool.
Yeah, the keeper of the cash, the keeper of the money. See
you
how
got
that's
that
gonna
on?
go.
You got that on the Tezos blockchain or not, brother?
Is that gonna be like handcuffed briefcase, to somebody or something like that?
It should.
We should just get a briefcase and handcuff it to somebody.
Oh, we got a briefcase, okay, and we got handcuffs. You guys better believe that.
What's going on in the chat, Connor? Anything?
Yeah, they're actually kind of caught up on talking about whether Pedro did or did not train. I think there's some skepticism.
He did not train. Who says he didn't train?
That's what Felipe was saying in the
really?
interview. Yeah, he said Pedro didn't have, I don't know if he didn't train, didn't have a great training camp. I don't know the specifics of what he was trying to get at, but I also think that's what we hear from athletes and teams pretty often.
Yeah.
Especially whenever they're not happy with their performance. So I don't know. The chat's blowing up about it.
Yeah.
Though.
I'm honestly sure. Not 100% sure, but I'm sure the camp didn't go perfect for Gordon either.
There's someone in the chat saying they would put up 10K for Felipe Pena.
Mo, reach out to Mo.
An extra 10K?
Adam Smithington.
Yeah,
Adam Smithington.
He wants the smoke. He's gonna put up his money for it. That's a car. That's Adam Smithington's car is going up right now on the podcast.
Are odds out? Can you bet on this match? You can.
Odds are, I don't believe they're out yet, but we'll make sure that those go up. I'm sure across the online betting sites across the.
If there's one match to bet on, man, this might be the one.
Yeah,
that's. Jeez.
Speaking of the other matches on this card, right? Because we can go in Gordon versus.
Yeah, give him a preview of what was.
Yeah, we can go in Gordon Pena all day, but the co-main event, right? Nicholas Mergali and Rafael Lovato Jr.
Oh, it's big time.
How about that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be crazy.
Also, two really rising stars in this point, Jacob Couch and Jay Rodriguez. That for me, I think, could be match of the night.
Yeah.
Bia Mesquita versus Liz Clay. Another great matchup there. Fabricio Andre and Diogo Hayes are both making their ADCC debuts.
Who's number one debut?
Are both making their Who's Number One debuts. Fabricio Andre versus Fabian Ramirez, who we just saw on the Who's Next finale. And Diego Hayes versus the Giant Slayer. Baby Shark versus the Giant Slayer, Esteban Martinez.
And Mika Galvao on the card as well.
Mika versus Alan Sanchez,
Okay, yeah,
that's right.
Here's all a bunch of these names. Man, that Nicholas Marigali versus Rafael Lovato Jr. Love that match, man. What a G. Rafael Lovato, always down to throw down with some of the best in the world. And a huge match, I think, for both those guys, you know. And still, I think Marigali is still a little bit untested. We still have a lot to learn, a lot to see from Marigali in the future here.
What do you guys think of his performance? I know during the press conference he said, you can't watch my first no-gi performance. That was a bad indicator of what's happening.
It was a great match, though.
Yeah. Now that you saw the Brailer match, what do you think?
So one thing I noticed in that match, and I kind of wrote an article about this today. It's on the site now. Is what the thing we've seen from Marigali in both the Brailer match and the Maidana match is that when he can stick to the script, Marigali can do whatever he wants, right? So he played the game plan perfectly. He got the takedown, got the top control, worked the arm bars, rinse and repeat. But we haven't seen him challenged yet in a way that he has to go away from what he planned on doing coming in. I think Lovato gives us the best opportunity to see that, right? Because Lovato's not going to just roll over and let Marigali play his game and practice his game and rep it out. Lovato's going to throw some wrenches in there and make it a little bit more of a gritty match, right? Marigali's going to have to turn and flex and make some hasty decisions, and I think we're going to see a little bit more of what his B game looks like.
Yeah, I just think that he looked great against Brailer for sure. You know, anytime you go out there against a high level, no-gi world, brown belt no-gi world champion in Brailer, and put on a clink kind of like you did, man. That's an impressive thing. But his wrestling, Marigali's wrestling, like the way he it's hard to take people down. You know, no way to cut it. Like, but he's out there taking people down.
Running the pipe.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like, and he's a gi guy. He has more takedowns than some of these no-gi guys, you know. So I'm impressed with what we've seen so far. Marigali, I know we've only kind of seen the tip of the iceberg there.
And just to add, like, it's not like his gi game is takedown heavy, right?
No,
Marigali's a guard puller.
Yeah.
So incredible to see
he really has
quick transition.
Really has transformed his game for this new rule set. Obviously, he's training with John and Gordon, one of the best teams in the world. So clearly you can see that he's progressing. He's learning a lot, and it's a really cool thing, actually, I think, to see such a high-level gi athlete transition to kind of what we've said for a long time is a completely other sport from the gi.
What was that time difference between the Maidana match and then Brailer Grout? Was that like 2 months?
4 months, I think.
4 months?
Right, it was March.
Was it? I was going to say it was April, to be honest, but I don't know.
Either way, just like a short. We're dealing with a matter of months here, and you can just see immediate evolutions in his game and the things he was not able to do in his match with Maidana to now he's going to be able to do against Brailer Grout. So I want to see if he's going to evolve even more going into this match with Rafael Lovato Jr. But obviously Lovato is a ADCC veteran, like the American OG, So this is going to be a crazy one, a huge test for him as well.
Okay, yeah, we even got you can see a little bit of
Marigali's finish here. Yeah,
versus Brailer right here. Big step up for Brailer, certainly. He was game. He went after it. Yeah, you can just see, what high-level jiu-jitsu really is like. Marigali just kind of just slices right through the guard, kind of left and right there.
It's interesting. I think he wanted to play in this leg lock game because at the press conference,
so leg locks don't work.
Yeah, at the press conference, Marigali told Brailer leg locks don't work, and I think that inspired them both.
I feel like that made
to prove their point.
That made some of us just a little nervous, but but he proved it. He waded into the fire and was able to finish Brailer.
Man, I don't. This might be a too soon moment, but we did find out earlier on the card that leg locks do work to some degree.
Very true.
That submission scarred me. Just hearing it, I was outside of the room, and still through everything you could hear just the littlest snap, and then everyone go crazy. It was sickening.
For those that weren't in the room and only heard it on the stream, it sounded like somebody took a baseball bat and hit a concrete wall with it.
Yeah, and obviously here we're talking about Big Dan Montesolu versus Tristan Overig. One of the loudest moments in jiu-jitsu I've ever heard. It was terrifying, to be honest.
Yeah, one of the most violent moments, certainly that I've ever been witness to either. It was a crazy one. Big Dan is a beast for sure. That obviously I don't think he meant to hurt Tristan as bad as he did. But unfortunately, the game we play sometimes people get choked unconscious, and sometimes limbs break. Obviously, all the best to Tristan Overbeek and his family. Hope he's recovering at home and hanging out with his daughter and hanging out with everybody and enjoying hopefully some rest and some time off. But brutal submission there. So, and also here's the finish. Yep, there it is. Able to kind of get that like a rear naked choke type of grip on the arm triangle. Crazy night. Crazy night, man. It was up and down. J-Rod, Giancarlo. J-Rod I know J-Rod lost, but he might be like one of the most exciting grapplers in the world right now. Giancarlo looked fantastic as well.
Why don't we? I think we should go around just favorite match of the night, because I think there were so many. As Trey coined it, slobber knockers.
There's some slobber knockers.
Oh my god, I hate that so much.
For sure, some slobber knockers. Yep.
Yeah, I'll kick it off. I think J-Rod, Giancarlo just had a little bit of everything, right? Giancarlo put J-Rod on ice for 10 minutes. That sweet takedown to the back right off the bat, and then doing everything in his ability to try and finish J-Rod. And J-Rod just showing that same resilience he showed at trials, and then the ability to get free of Giancarlo's back control and go right back on attack as if he hadn't been in a 10-minute match. It looked like he was fresh. Incredibly impressive from both guys. Can't wait to see what they can do at ADCC.
Man, I'm going to go with, if anyone's going to go out there and be on the mat for 2 hours, I'm just going to pick them for my favorite match. I mean, that's incredible. What an incredible feat. Dude, I competed at the Austin Open last weekend. I was out there for 6 minutes and thought I was dead. Dude. I laid in the bullpen for 30 minutes afterwards, just dry heaving. So it blows my mind that someone would go out there for 2 hours and compete. And then obviously, finite finish of saw Isaac get that. It was a pretty sick armbar, so I'm just going to go with that one. And the way he came off the mat, too, like that helped me realize how sick that was. It's just how cool and collected he was walking off.
Yeah, hard for me not to go with Isaac versus Kyle as well, just because, had a little bit more invested in it than normal, and it was, edge of your seat for myself anyway. It was edge of your seat kind of viewing, stressed, certainly, and there were some ups and downs throughout it. I was freaking out. I was going crazy. I was excited. Went the full range of emotional kind of trajectory there. So that was probably for me. That was definitely the most eventful one for the night for me. Connor?
Oh, I think Andrew Tackett versus Rene Souza. I mean, I was super exciting to see him go out there, especially because it was like such good vibes. Those two, like they had already kind of maintained their friendship from the Who's Next finale. So seeing him go out there, it was very much like almost like the show had kind of made them come together as brothers, and they went to war. A shout out to Andrew Tackett getting the rear naked choke finish. It was super fun to see. Yeah, what's up, man?
I think that's another match that jumps in my mind as one of those like closeouts should never exist matchups, right? Because if these two guys can become the best of friends on Who's Next, so much so that like
roommates,
they went hiking roommates, up a mountain. They spent a week together after the show, right? They went to church together the day after the match, right? They're that close, and yet they can try and kill each other for 5 minutes on the mat. Like closeouts should never happen, exist, matter. We shouldn't be having the closeout conversation anymore after watching that match.
Renee threw up some buggy chokes. J-Rod threw up a flying buggy choke.
That was sick.
Good night for the buggy choke.
I got Trey, how'd you do at the Austin Open? I didn't know you were competing, man.
Oh, yeah. I went in first round, cleaned up 7-0, passed some guard. It was easy day at the office. And my second round, wasn't my day. Got submitted.
A little injury from the first match.
Wasn't really training.
Yeah, I wasn't really training. I was...
didn't have great training partners.
Yeah, I've been watching.
Push you,
right, yeah. I've been watching a lot of 1998 WWF Raw, so I was just like that was taking up most of my time, so I didn't get a lot of training in.
So I had a sick post-match celebration.
Yeah. Now I almost set this old boy up for a stone cold stunner, and he wouldn't have got up from that. And if you believe that, let me get a hell yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Why? Because I said so. So, a lot of things going on, of course.
So, good weekend. Of course, don't forget everybody to tune in. This is a Sunday show, a rare Sunday show. We're trying some different things. We tried a Thursday show last week. This versus Gordon Ryan versus Felipe Pena. Of course, Mika Galvao and Marigali versus Rafael Lovato is August 7th. It's a Sunday. So make sure you guys get in early, from the Sunday, from the long weekend, and tune into the TV. You guys are not going to want to miss this match. Plenty of other great matches on there, so it's going to be incredible. But we do have an ADCC match, too, that we wanted to just check out.
Yeah, before we roll out, I just want to remind everybody how cool these 2011,
Exactly.
these 2009, 2015 ADCC matches are. So we dug through the archives, found, I think, one of my favorite ADCC submissions of all time. Let's watch through this.
So if you guys haven't seen it, go back. 2009. Is that in Barcelona, if I recall correctly? Is that where 2009 is?
This was 2011.
I'm sorry, 2011. This is 2011. This is Nottingham. This is, of course, England, UK.
We're watching Kron Gracie versus Jason Manley from the very first round of ADCC 2011, the 77 kilogram division.
So we haven't had any Kron Gracie matches on FloGrappling.com, since its inception. So it's very, very exciting that we now have some Kron Gracie matches on the site. I believe we have 6 or 7 Kron Gracie matches on the site now. Just a legend of jiu-jitsu. So really proud to have Kron Gracie on FloGrappling now, and some of his greatest matches of all time, of course, happened at these ADCCs. This is his first round elimination match, and this just really set up kind of a legendary run here for Kron Gracie at ADCC. Big Kron Gracie fan, Troy?
I like Kron Gracie, yeah, for sure. Obviously,
Ice Cream Kron?
Yeah, he's someone I kind of have to, go back and watch his stuff, find everything I can on the internet, but obviously now with the FloGrappling.com archives we have of this guy, this is going to be incredible to watch all of his game. I'm a real big fan of these guys' style. That's what I like about watching the archives. You see some interesting outfits guys used to compete in.
Yeah, a lot of t-shirts for sure.
So some tank tops, little Jeff Glover action.
Man, that quick sit up from the guard. He pulls guard and then right back on the head.
Any chance we could rewind that? I mean, the way he sits guard for like half a second. I love the way he kind of gets underneath them, sits guard for half a second, and then is on the neck. It's just crazy.
And it's something the guys in this era did really well, but Kron and Marcelo were two of the best at it, right? And just that forward aggressive guard where guard
hand on the head.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, the guard it looks like they're wrestling from their back, right? It's so forward and aggressive, and he gets to this fantastic guillotine.
And then he jumps it.
So pretty.
Connor, are you a big guillotine guy? You go for guillotines a lot?
No, they're like my worst fear, actually. It's like coming from a wrestling base. Yeah, coming from a wrestling base. The only thing that I'm not worried about is getting guillotined by Trey. Trey's not really concerned with, but usually guillotines are on my list.
For sure.
It's a pretty athletic move.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And
His arms are very small. They look long,
Right.
but they're actually very small arms.
First of all, 75-inch reach, okay? And that's a fact. And second of all, yeah, I don't know why you would be concerned with a guillotine, because it would be weird if I did that from your back, where you can normally find me throughout the round. So yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned about a guillotine either if I was you.
Corey, are you a big guillotine guy?
I used to be. It comes in and out, but yeah, every once in a while the guillotine bug hits.
It is fun just to choke them.
Man, I saw one of these archive clips of Marcelo hitting the guillotine. Obviously, a master of the guillotine, bro. He had the guy's head just so turned, it's like the camera was perfect to see the guy's face as it was in the guillotine, and it was one of the gnarliest submissions I've ever seen. His head just completely looked like he was an owl, completely turned upside down. But yeah, that made me a little bit terrified of the guillotine myself, to be honest.
Yeah. So there you go. Just a taste of what's to come, or what we have on these ADCC archives. We're going to try to watch an ADCC match on the podcast here every week.
We got a lot to choose from. There are more than 300 matches just from those 3 years, right? 500 total ADCC matches we have now.
If they're fans of, who can they watch?
Rafa Mendes, Cobrinha, Andre Galvao. We have a ton of Galvao matches. Marcelo Garcia,
Dean Lister.
Kron Gracie, Dean Lister.
UFC fighters, Glover, former champions, Glover Teixeira, Chris Weidman, Ronaldo Jacare Souza, Ryan Hall, So many incredible grapplers, so much to learn, of course, in these archives. So definitely, if you get a chance, dive right in. There's a lot. Go to Flow Arena. What is it, FlowArena.com, and you can check out the brackets. Follow along. It's a lot of fun. All of us have been diving in to these ADCC archives these past month or so, and it's been such an incredible journey. Looking forward to ADCC 2022, the biggest grappling event in the history of grappling. Whew, I cannot wait for that. Either Connor, anything else going down in the chat before we get out of here?
No. Right now they're just kind of talking about Cron Gracie. We got some fans in there. But I do want to remind everyone, it's not just Who's Number One. It's not just ADCC. There's also the IBJJF FloGrappling Grand Prix going down in August, just a week after Who's Number One. So, the next 2 months are super exciting for jiu-jitsu, and like you said, probably two of the biggest months the sport has ever seen. So super excited about it. Stay tuned on the FloGrappling Instagram. That's where we drop a lot of our news. Let's go, guys.
Corey, anything else? Trey, want to give him a suck it, or you want to give him a?
Yeah, man, I'll drop a suck it at some point for sure before we sign off. But man, like you said though, Sunday Fun Day, August 7th. Tune in, grab your popcorn, grab your significant other, grab your grandma. I don't care if she likes grappling or not. Make her watch it. Just let's inflate these numbers as much as we can. It's going to be great. It's a great time to be a grappling fan.
Yep, no better time to be a grappling fan than right now. So much heat coming your way. So tune in, guys. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see y'all guys next week. Peace. Thanks everybody.
Man, I think Gordon did a good match, of course. There is nothing to say about that. He take it down. He put pressure on top. Did a good job. Do not letting Pedro stand up, and stay on top, pushing the pace to kill Pedro gas, But didn't impress me in anything, Pedro is not